Okay, welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk about modal verbs. Before we start, as usual, I'd like to remind you something. So, I'll be asking some questions and I expect everyone in this class to respond, to type something because this is the only way you can learn. If you're here just to, I don't know, just if you want to just listen to me or just look at the screen, you're not going to learn anything but wasting your time. So the point is to be active, ask your questions, don't be afraid to type, and just express your feelings and knowledge. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, and let's stay on topic. If you wanna, I don't know, have some partners, you can do it in DMs. So before we start, let me ask you some questions. So first, let's read this. It said modal verbs are essential in English for expressing possibility, ability, necessity, permission, and more. And by the end of this lesson, you will be able to use modal verbs naturally and correctly in different contexts. Before we start, I have a question. How many verbs do we have? What types of verbs do we have? Like, what is modal verb? Any other type? Like, what is main verbs? Just type. Be yourself. You are here to learn. So we all make mistake. Just go ahead and type. Would, should, stative, modal, linking. So generally, if you want to categorize verbs in English, how would you categorize them? Let me help you. When we have, for example, the verb cook, for example, or I don't know, let's say swim, whatever. And we have the verb can. Like, what is the difference? What is the difference here? Swim and can, like cook and could. I don't know. Study, speak, do, and on the other hand, we have, for example, am, is, are, or I don't know, will, would, might. Like, what's the difference? Regular, irregulars, no. Yes, but not here. Working and auxiliary verbs, Sam, very good. Performative, could, should, can. Am I, Swim is verb, no, okay. Translation. So what do you mean by translation? Swim is an action and can is an ability. So when you say I can swim, very good. When you say I can swim, what do you mean? I can swim. What's the point? What do you want to say? Would can be used with another verb. I am able to swim. So you're saying that you have an ability, and that ability is the fact that you can swim, right? So you used a verb, can, to talk about the other verb, swim, saying that you have this ability. So something our friend says, they are here to help us talk about different things. When I say swim, here, for example, this one, I can swim, I could swim, I should swim, I might swim, I will swim, I have to swim, for example. Are they the same? Do they mean the same? I might swim, I ought to, very good, I ought to swim, I should swim. Are they the same? Because I'm using swim. I mean, we all know the meaning of swim. But the meaning, yes, am I right? The meaning is getting changed. They are all different. Very good. So we use some helping verbs. Something in general, we call them auxiliaries. We use them like this, auxiliary verbs. And they are like, so some extent like am, is, are. Like I am, you are, she is. Have, like I have done. Do, does, very good. Have or has, not like I have a car. Like I have done my homework. As helping verb, yes. Auxiliary means helping. Auxiliary means like helping. And here we have modal verbs. And we have semi or semi-modals, which is something else, but we'll talk about it later. Something our friend says ought to, or I have to do something. They are semi-modals, but generally yes. So we use them to, as we said here, for expressing possibility and different things. Now, what are modal verbs? Imagine you were asked this question, how would you answer? You can give me examples, definitions, you can have ChatGPT, whatever you want, that's fine. Someone asks you this question, how would you respond? How would you answer? What are modal verbs? Let's go. Start typing and send your answers. Let's wait for our friends. Again, just listening is not useful. You're just wasting the time. You have to be active because this is the only way you can learn something. Why grammar is important? Well, this is basic because common sense, because you need to make some sentences. If you don't know the grammar, how can you convey and express your feelings? So of course it is important. Modal verbs are the verbs that help us to show that one is capable of doing something or etc. Thank you. Should, must, may. So what do they do, Christopher? Very good. What do they do? What do should, must, may, could do? Okay. Lucky you. What about others? Several people are typing. They are a type of auxiliary verb used with a main verb to express possibility, something, something, something. Examples include can, very good, yes. Ability, permission, possibility, or obligation. Nice. Always followed by a base verb. Nice. Are verbs used as auxiliary verbs when we want to express some context of the action? Nice. They help you to form question or advices. So can we say advices? Something interesting. Can we say advices? Determine situation, how things should be done. Nice. We use may on uncertainty things. Okay. Uncertain things as an adjective. Show possibility or necessity. Come here says modal verbs are the verbs that add more information and emotion to a sentence. Exactly. Come here and others. Moderating team, hello. It is used to express possibility, willingness. Nice, nice, very good, exactly. So modal verbs are special auxiliary verbs that modify the meaning of the main verb. Main verb like swim, cook, study, speak. They help express possibility and probability like might, may, could. Ability, as we said, can or could. Obligation and necessity, must, have to, should. Permission, prohibition like can, may, or must not, which is important here. Advice and suggestions like should, ought to, think like that. Like she can swim very fast. This is the ability. Yes, she has the ability of swimming, and we are also using some kind of adverbs. Very fast. You must wear a seatbelt or fasten, for example. You may arrive late, and we should exercise daily. So something I asked you, our friend Christopher said advice says. Can we use advice as a plural one, like advice says? Is it correct? May I use the bathroom? Could you give me your phone number? Questions, okay? No, it is uncountable. We say pieces. If you have a piece of advice, or generally some advice. But anyway, but how do modal verbs work? How can we use them? This is a very important question. How can we use them in our sentences? Like I can swim. What about she? She cans swim. She can swims, or what? Like I am canning swimming. Is it possible? I have can swim. Do we have such things? So how can we use them? How do modal verbs word. This is another question here. To express our tone, nice. Subject plus modal verb plus verb, base form. She can swim, I can swim. Very good. By using the base form after it. Interesting. Very good. So unlike regular verbs, modal verbs don't take S in the third person singular. It could be easy for you, but of course there are some people who find this useful. He can sing. He can. No, he can. Always remain the same. He can, she can, I can, you can. They are followed by the base form of the verb without to. We call them bare infinitive to or just the base form. She must go, not to go. And don't use them like do, does, did in question and negatives. Can you help me? We don't say do you can help me. Because can is like the core, let's say, verb here. And we just modify it with the same word like can. Can you help me? I can help you. I can't help you. Not don't can. He must not be late. Not he does not. Of course, these are some basic points. But let's talk about some modal verbs of ability. How can we express when we want to talk about ability? Of course, you know that we can use can, like I can swim, and there is no past form. You cannot say, for example, I can't swim. No. I will be able to swim is something else. Again, be able to is a semi-modal, as I told you. So I have a question. Here we said can has only the present form. I can swim. We cannot say I will can. I can, nor can we say I can swim. So how can we talk about, for example, can, I mean ability, using like present continuous, using, I don't know, past perfect continuous. How is it possible? I want to use present perfect. I want to use present continuous, but I cannot say I am canning. We don't have that. So how can I use ing in this case? When I learned how to use must, one of the rules was not to use to. Exactly, Christopher, as we said. Have could. Can we say have could? I have could. Subject plus can being. Are you sure? I can being swim. Is it correct? Like you mean I can being something? I don't think so. That's fine. It's fine you don't know. You're just guessing. That's great. You told us. So we can use some semi-modals, as we said, like be able to. I was able to something. I am able to do something. Or I don't know, any type. I have been able to do something. So you can use can, like ability, in different tenses, in different situations, using be able to. But technically we use can for present. For could we can do too, like she could run fast, past ability. Again, she could run fast. So we use could for something in the past, like when I was a child, I could swim, for example. Or she could run fast when she was a child, we can say. Again, she will be able to run fast. We also use could for something else. For example, right now I tell you, you could be a great singer. You could be a great singer. Am I talking about the past? Like you sing something in the class, for example, you sing something. And I say, oh, you have a beautiful voice. You could be a great singer. Am I talking about past, present, or future? And I'm using could. You could be a great singer. Future, so how is it possible? Number 4. Or Joy again, I think. How is it possible? Barry. Barry deleted this message, but you were right, Barry. Number 4 says, predict. So a friend says predict. What about others? Because you're right here. Exactly. You say that you have the potentials. You have the potentials, because right now you have just sung and I can see that you are a good singer. So you could be like a famous one. There is a chance you become a successful or a popular singer. So we can use could for this case too, but generally past ability and be able to, something we said we are able to, we were able to, and we will be able to. And I could to play again, it is not correct. So this is for ability, how you can express something about ability. But modal verbs of obligation and necessity. Of course, you know the meaning of obligation. What does it mean? What is the meaning of obligation? We suggest that they could, which implies they can if they choose to. Very good. I have no clue. That's fine. Things you have to do. Commands, we can say. And very good, Christopher. Duty, to some extent. Requesting. No, it's like telling. Very good. When you have to do something. Very good. The way we must do things. No, they're not the same. Order, commands, exactly, very good. Do this, don't do that. For example, on an airplane, you cannot use your phone, for example. Or at a gas station, you cannot use your phone. Or for example, I don't know, at a school, you cannot use your phones, for instance. So it is obligation. Or for example, I have to wear, for example, a uniform. Or I don't know, I have to follow the rules. You have to stop when the traffic light is red. This is a kind of obligation. They force you to do that. Otherwise, you will be fined. They will give you a ticket, for example. Something we must not neglect. Very good. Neglect or ignore. Very good, exactly. Task, prohibition, exactly. Responsible to do, we can say that. And necessity means come from necessary, like something which is necessary, something which is important when we should do. So we use must, a strong obligation. You must wear a seatbelt, otherwise you will be fined. We will talk about the negative later. We have to. So something important here. For example, I have to do this, for example, and I must do this. Can you tell me the differences here? I have to do this and I must do this. What's the difference? Yes. Sudharshan, I think. Must 100% have to 80%. So how can you define this percentage? Like how can you say 80%, 100%, I don't know, 90%. How can we define this? Mandatory, must means the duty. Are you sure? I must do this, I have to do this. And by the way, if you want to download the PDF, you can simply join my Telegram channel. I have a Telegram channel where I just upload my PDFs. I will send the link now and you can join it for free. Oh, they are blocking it. Why? So it's in the actually class announcements. You can just click on the link. Let me send it again here. Must order. Have to, you are forced to do this. But if you don't, nothing happens. So why are you forced if you don't do, nothing happens? So what's the point of this force? But you're close. Royal, you're close. Must has to have a deeper degree of doing something. 80% you could ignore or not that necessary or urgent. Okay, nice. He's going to do in future. Must is used to express strong obligation, willing. So, sometimes someone forces us. We work in a company and our boss, for example, forces us to do something. It's a kind of rule, company rules. And we have to obey, we have to follow. Yes? But sometimes you force yourself. You want to lose some weight, for example, say, okay, I should go running, for example, or I should go for a walk. You want to force yourself. I must do this. I must study hard. I must, for example, work hard, something like that. No one is forcing you. Your boss doesn't force you to go for a walk, and no one else. But you are forcing yourself. This is something we call it internal obligation, and the boss case is like external. I have to do this. It means someone is forcing me. My boss, my I don't know, parents, my teachers, my friends, whatever. External, outside of your body, outside of you. And internal means you do it yourself. So something we have here, external obligation. I have to work late. I don't know. Should. But must also means a strong obligation too. I mean, there are two different things. And should is like advice. Of course, you know that you should drink water. Advice, suggestions. Must not. So here the negative point, as we said. The strong prohibition, you must not touch this water. You must not park here. It means totally it is not acceptable. Don't have to means no obligation. Something our friend Royal says. It means you don't have to bring food. If you want, you can do that, but no one is forcing you. It's up to you. It is up to you. It's your call. We have time. You don't have to drive fast. You don't have to, I don't know, hurry up. It's fine. We have time. If you want, you can do that. That's fine. But no one is pushing you. What about shouldn't is like weak prohibition. You shouldn't eat too much sugar. Just a friendly advice here. Have to means lack of obligation. So again, we said you don't have to come early, but if you want, that's fine. Or you must not smoke here. It is against the rules. So this table is important. Positive and negative, they are different. You must do something and you must not do something, or like you have to do something and you don't have to do something. They are totally different. Key differences here: must not means prohibited. You must not park here. It is against the law, as we said. Don't have to means optional. You can if you want. You don't have to bring a gift, but no one is hindering you. What about modal verbs of possibility and probability? What about this one? What can we use in this case? You must take my question seriously. Very good. It is a necessity to avoid a bad consequence. Okay, very good. How often are these classes held? Weekly, once a week. Clear. Okay. So must can be used to indicate duty as it recognizes that the task is essential and needs to be completed. We can say that. Yes. Can, could. Possibility, the chances of happening. Okay. For example, it may happen in the future. That's nice. What about others? You have 43 people means 43 answers. Very good. Probability and possibility. Let's check them out. Again, we have another table. We have will. 100% certain. He will be here soon. I know that. He will be here soon. Must. Very likely. She must be at work. We can also use that to predict. Like, where is she? I don't know. She must be at work. It means technically, as far as I know, she should be or she must be at work. We have may or might. 50%. Right? It might rain later. We can say that. And you know that. So what's the difference between may and might? It may rain and it might rain. Also, let me write it may. So what's the difference? It may rain, it might rain. Past form. Not exactly everywhere. Formal, informal, could be. Possibility means hoping for something with a chance. It may or may not happen. Might is more common. Might means 25%. Yes, might is weaker. Might is weaker. In different contexts, they vary, but generally might is weaker. One has a higher chance to happen, which is may. More polite, we can say that. A smaller probability. Yes. Could. Possible but less certain. He could be sleeping. I don't know. There's a chance he could be sleeping. And impossible. Can or cannot. She can't be at home. Look at the lights. For example, the lights are all off. For example, she can't be at home. Here we have, for example, I don't know, logical impossibility. Like she must not be at home. They are not really common. Or it might not rain. So of course you can negate it. Or he couldn't be sleeping now or something like that. Generally we use such verbs, and mostly when we say possibility and probability we mean may and might. Of course other modal verbs can help us in this case, but technically these two play a key role in this topic. And I have a question. Can we use some modal verbs in a sentence? Like I want to say will for future, can for possibility, for example. For ability, sorry. Can I say I can swim? Is it correct? I will in the future can swim. Means I will have the ability to swim in the future. Okay, what's wrong? Why? You're all saying no. Technically wrong. No. Can has no future form. Yes, I'm talking about using multiple modal verbs. Okay, I should can swim. I might will swim. I don't know. I might have to. I don't know. I might, for example, would swim. Are they correct? You can only use one modal verb. You say very good. Very good. We cannot use something like this. It will can rain. No. It can rain tomorrow or anything else. But we don't use multiple modal verbs. And forget have in future perfect. I mean something that he will have finished. He will have finished. Something last session we talked about. Again, forgetting being, they will have been working. Could be a part of this topic. And future perfect. Something I think last session we talked about future perfect. And future perfect continuous. Like I will have done my homework by, for example, June, by April, whatever. What about permission and prohibition? What about this one? Permission and prohibition. Like can, may, must not, and cannot. What can you say for this one? Permission. You can swim after 10 months. No. You will be able to swim after 10 months. Because we cannot use two modal verbs. We use semi-modals. So be able to, we said it is a semi-modals. In this case, we can use this. It doesn't even sound natural. Exactly. Asking if can do a certain thing. Access to, very good. To permit, exactly. We can say that. Joy again, yes, very good. Cannot do a certain thing. Very good, exactly. Getting a part right. Yes. So can is informal, of course you know that. You can do that, you can leave early, or you can't park here. Something we use in our everyday conversations. How can I read everyday conversations? How can I write it? I say we use something in our everyday conversations or everyday with no space. Which one? A or B and why? I think this is something we already talked, but let's talk about this too. We use something, we use this, we use that in our everyday conversations with a space or without a space. And why? No, what do you mean, Rexy? Which one is correct? I'm talking about like daily activities, daily conversations. First of all, which one is correct and why the other one is incorrect? Hon, if Vivi says A, but ZZZ says the B one is correct. So why? What's the reason? Both are correct. Are you sure? In this context, everyday conversations, both of them are correct. B, because it is an adjective, if I remember right. Yes, you're right, no clue. That's fine. Both are correct. In this context, are you sure? Think about something our friend Royal Pro said. If is typing, okay. So let's think, because it's important and it's worth thinking about it. I think it has to be about the usage in a sentence. If it means to use for every single day. Of course, it means daily or something you said. Such information is correct, so both are correct. No, both are not correct here. No. Only one of them is correct. If we mean daily conversations. In this context, in this position of the sentence, before a noun. Got my mistake. So, okay, what is it? What's the answer? Everyone, I don't know, Barry, number 4, I don't know, Kamyar, Joan, Ross, Emma, anyone, just, what about you? Every day, If he says number 1. Okay, what about this one? Or again, C, we use X every day. What about this one? So let me tell you, every day, each day, every day, daily. So what's the difference? Technically, you are saying the same thing, the same point. They are different. How different? Because it refers to daily or each day. That's correct. Can we use daily instead of every day? Not that every day, no. There are two right here, okay? So I should just get rid of this one, yes? Let me make it red. So we use X in our everyday conversations. Everyday here is an adjective. Let me use this one. It is an adjective and it means daily. But here, every day, my bad. But here, okay? But here it is, so what is this one? We use X every day. That one was an adjective. What about this one? C is correct, but it doesn't have the same meaning as B. Because B says, very good. Of course, of course. Adverb. The term everyday refers to something that is seen or occurs daily. Exactly. Daily, we can say. An adverb. Very good. So this is an adverb here. And again, it means every day, each day, as our friend said. But it's important how and where we use it. If you use it before a noun to say that it happens every day, you can say everyday conversations, everyday topics, everyday English, for example. But I go to school every day means each day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doesn't matter. So adverb and adjective. So may, back to our topic. May, formal permission, you know that, may I do this, may I do that, may I go out, which is very common. May I sit here? Less common in negatives, you may not do that. This is something about like British English, first of all, and it's not that much common, but of course you can use that. You may not do that, means you don't have the permission to do that. Must not, we talked about it, a strict prohibition, you must not enter, you must not do it. and it means not allowed. You are not allowed to park here. You must not park here. And cannot, we can say you can't smoke here. Means logical impossibility. For example, at a gas station, you cannot smoke. Differences between can't and must not. We said can't is like logically impossible. It can't be true, for example. But must not is like rules, law, a strict rule or law. You must not be late. There will be some consequences for you. Every adjective and day complement, we can say like this: every day. Yes. Okay. Asking something. I think adra is like something we say a 3 hour flight. A 3 hour flight as an adjective. We are using two verbs as a kind of adjective phrase, we can say like everyday conversations, everyday conversation with a dash, with a hyphen, and we are just ignoring the hyphen, so everyday conversations. And for advice and suggestions, you can pronounce this verb in this word in two ways. Suggestions, two J's, is universal, and suggestions, one give, one J. Suggestions is American. Anyway, advice and suggestions. What can we say? If you want to advise, if you want to suggest, if you want to, I don't know, help someone with that. Asking something is may, so can't, abbreviation. Can't abbreviation, what do you mean by that? Joyagan is typing, okay. Everyone, what can we use for this one, for this case? Advice and suggestions. You shouldn't eat junk food. So I have a question here. If the guy, for example, let's say, if he ate junk food, would there be some consequences? Would he be fined? He just eats. You just advise, huh? You're just giving some advice, just suggesting. Don't do that. It's not good. But if you want, okay. I'm not stopping you. I'm not just doing anything. It's more of an open-ended idea. Stronger guidance. Yes. Very good. He will advise him to not eat. He will advise him not to eat. Better. Should suggestion, exactly. Just a friendly reminder. You ought to clean your room. Ought to the semi-modal, and again, it means like should is formal. Formal. Mostly if you follow some politicians on X, instead of should, they say ought to. For example, I once saw one of Biden's tweets, like many months ago, and said we ought to help, for example, California about the fire. We ought to, for example, send something. It means we should, but in a formal way. You should to swim? No, you should swim. We said after modal verbs, we don't use any to or something like that. We should swim. So, should advise, you should sleep early. Shouldn't is like soft warning. You shouldn't eat too much. Bear in mind, just know that. Heads up. You shouldn't do something. Ought to, strong advice. Again, you ought to apologize. Or less common, you ought not to. The negative is you ought not to do something. You ought not to. Had better is another thing we can say. I have one YouTube video talking about just had better. It only has the present form. Had better is not like past of have. It's a kind of a structure. Had better means right now. You had better study. You had better go. You had better listen. And the negative is not. You had better not do something. You had better not fail your exam. You had better not be late. It's a kind of a strong warning. You had better not do that. Means if you, for example, do that, there will be some bad things for you. And we cannot say anything about future or past. It's just right now. You had better do something. This had can sometimes confuse you. You think it's for the past. No, it's for right now. You should to study. Something our friend says, a common mistake. As our friend says, you should to swim or to study. No, you should swim or study. Let's have some advanced notes here and then wrap. I don't really know actually. What's the problem? Teacher gives advice to students. We can say that. So ought to is like more polite. Very good. Indicate more correctness. We can say that, yes. It is formal. This is what I can tell you. That is formal. Thank you. You're welcome. Had better. Wow, that's new for me. Yes. Is that like some phrasal verb? We can say that. You should do a study. No, you should study. Just to study. You should study. Does had better mean it will be better? Yes. It is better that. It is better that you study. As a kind of warning, as we said here, the point is like warning. Like, I don't know, someone is parking next to your house and says, sir, you must not park here. He said, oh, just let me go. I don't have time to argue with you. He said, you had better not park here. It's a kind of threat. You're threatening the guy. For example, you are giving him some warnings. When did the class started? Exactly 6 minutes ago. In Spanish sounds different. Okay. You didn't get her, that's fine. Correct. Okay. Let's have some advanced notes. We have shall and will. So it's good to know. I will study and I shall study. What's the difference? What's the difference between I will study and I shall study? Shall is like should. In this case, in this sentence, in this example, I shall study, I will study. If I want, no. Nope. Shall is kind of future, but it's something like a should. I will study 100%. I shall study, no. Shall. What does it mean? Very good. Shall we pray now? Shall we do this? What does it mean? Let's pray. Let's play shall we? Tag question. Yes. So you're close. You're getting close. Very good. Asking something. No, I'm not asking. I shall study. I will study. I will means I had to. It is a must, and I shall means like I had to. So why had? Is it like past? I will, future. Shall is used as a term for giving advice. Like future. No. Doing something maybe no. Wait, what? I shall study hard to achieve my goals. Very good. So, I shall study exactly means I will study. Shall, 100% we can say. Shall means will, the same. I shall, I will, the same. For I and we. Just for I and we. I shall do means I will do. He shall go, we shall go, we will go. Exactly, shall and will. Just for I and we. He shall go is something else. Something your friends were talking about, should, suggestions, so on and so forth. Different topics. Of course, you know that. But shall, if you use I and we with it, it means I will. I shall never see him again, means I will never see him again. So here I think we said shall and will. Will is used for offer, suggestion in British English. Like shall we go? We can say that. And if we have I and we, it's like will. We can say that. But will is more common in American English because shall is something like in British. You maybe you can say that in some, I don't know, Shakespeare's or like what was the detective name? Sherlock Holmes, for example. You can see something like this. Let me see any questions. So is shall used for future? Just for I and V. Just for I and V. If you are using the British style, like you're speaking in British, for example, you can say that. In American English, it is not common because we have a student from different, I don't know, decisions. Some student wants to use British English, some people want to use American. I just say it. But American English, we don't use I shall go like I will go. So why shall is used if we can use it's British. It's British. It's like old British, like Shakespeare, like this. I get it. Class is so good. How can we get more class like this? There's some free classes I just host every week, weekly classes at the same time. Thank you. So, double modals in some dialects. Some English dialects use double modals. It's not a standard. You might could help me, like Southern US English. You might could help me. Again, we have two topics. Like spoken English, everyday English, English on the streets, and a standard English. Like for academic purposes, for, I don't know, university, for work, for something like that, professional, and we have like casual on the streets. If you're learning the standard one, of course we don't use double negative, but of course you will see some people using double negative, like Southern US English or everyone. You might could help me. Of course they convey the message, you can understand them. But just know that it is not standard, but it's worth learning. And here we said, he must be at home, I'm sure he is. He can't be at home, I'm sure he isn't. Something we said. So, we talked about modal verbs. Something really interesting is perfect modals. Perfect modals, like should have. You should have told me. They could have done this. Or I don't know. Must. You must have been tired. These are some really interesting topics. Next week, we will talk about perfect modals. It means modal verbs plus have plus PP, past participle. For example, should have done, for instance. Will have done, which is for future perfect, but something like this, must have done, and so on and so forth. And here we have some examples. So if you want to download this PDF for free, you can either check out my website, englishwithnimafar.com, or just you can simply join my Telegram channel on here, I should say. Has been able to do something. He can't be at home. I am sure, but not fully sure. Of course, we cannot be fully sure anytime, but he can't be home means, as far as I know. As far as I know, he can't be home, for example. But of course, it depends on the context, the situation, and many things else. We are just learning some kind of theories. When you want to talk about, I don't know, possibility, use this, ability, use that. But in the situation, you will see something else happens, and you have to be flexible. And the point of learning a language is to communicate, is to convey your message and understand other people. Beyond that is something else, something extra. Like if you want to, I don't know, using it for some standard situation like university, work, I don't know, something like that. Do you have an English academy? Well, I have private classes, if you mean. Yes, I have some students from, I don't know, Russia, different countries, probably every continent. But yes, if you like PCAS, you can message me. We can have some online private classes, but academy, no. Like institute, no. But myself, yes, I would like to take more English. Okay, sure. You can always message me. Generally, that would be it. The end of this. If you have any questions, please ask me. I hope you found it useful. So we tried to cover modal verbs because it was one of the topics many students requested. Like, can we talk about modal verbs? Because they could be tricky while they are easy. But next week, I'm really excited for our next week class because it is something interesting using modal verbs and like perfect tenses, like have plus pp. You must have been. Something quite difficult it looks, but again, you will find it interesting. Thank you. Sure, thank you, Joy again. By DMs? Yeah, just send me a message. Just click on my profile and you can send me a message. So, any questions, guys? Thank you. You're welcome, Rex. Uh, so, our public classes like this happens once a week. Every week on Mondays, like the same time, the same day. And there's an events table. If you check the events table, you will find, but let me just send you, because it shows the exact time based on your time zone. Yes. You can just click on remind or interest in something, it just send you some notifications. But generally, you can just know that. And actually, on my Telegram channel, I just announced it. Like, I'm going to start the class or something like that. And we have some quizzes, some PDFs, many things on our Telegram channel. Thank you, teacher. Thank you, Adrab. So today was really interesting. And I hope you find it useful. Any questions, let me know. A stranger wants to talk. Okay, let's see. Okay, I gave you the permission, stranger.
Hello.
Hello? Hi?
Um, uh, uh, Honorable, can you please give me a hint what is going on this channel and what class is it in?
Uh, this class. So technically, on this server, you will find some free classes. Anything takes place in this server is free. Okay. So we have different classes with different teachers. Some people just teach about IELTS. I don't know, speaking, listening, uh, conversation classes, whatever. I do grammar classes. So every week on
Oh,
Wednesdays at a specific time, well, I just announced I start the class. We talk about one grammar topic, like modal verbs, present perfect, simple past. I don't know, something like this. If we try to cover
um,
a topic every week, we try to do it
um,
weekly. But of course, there are different
a
teachers who
teacher,
have daily classes,
a
or I don't know, 2 times a week, 3 times a
teacher,
week.
like
Yes,
a teacher, I would like to address one of my queries.
sure.
The fact that the thing is that like my grammar is pretty good, but I have a huge gap. It's been like 6 to 7 years since I haven't written any sorts of like writing, and my TOEFL is coming soon, and
Uh huh.
so I need to like prepare for grammar. Additionally, I would also give SAT.
Uh huh. Okay.
Right now, like the thing that I need to work with is obviously the grammar, which would automatically increase my coherence, right? Can
Of
you please
course.
give me a tips to recover my grammar? Although I know grammar, I used to know a lot of grammar before, but it's been 6 to 7 years since I haven't had any exposure to English writing or some kind of those stuffs. Can you please give me an advice which I do follow to improve quickly?
Sure. So if you know grammar and you want to kind of have a revision or review it, uh, you can watch some YouTube videos or such classes like we have, or there are some useful books, like Grammar in Use, Grammar Digest, many things. I mean, you should just practice. Of course, if you forgot, for example, some topics, you should just practice them, nothing else. But since you say that you already know them, it will be easy for you because you just need to recall them, not to fully understand them because you have already done that part. And try to speak
Yeah,
like on Discord and Clubhouse, something like that. Just join some voice channels and try to speak to different people. And in this case, it could be useful because you should use and you should, we can say, apply your knowledge.
So like teachers, so as I've mentioned before, my SAT is coming in. Right now, I need to like focus on grammar only. already like at the first chance, as I'm like practicing test, I'm getting like consecutive 760 to 780 in SAT maths. But like I need to really work with English. If you know like the syllabus of SAT, like there are like a word choice or word implementation where you're given like a passage and you have to apply the appropriate word, and also you have to take care about the grammar. And also like for the grammar, mostly you if you like recall and immerse yourself into grammar, I think you can score
Yes.
you can make it into perfect score, right? So that's why like I was very enthusiastic and I was very curious for a recovery.
So first, but yes, first again, teacher, I try to DM you. Okay, I will send you a message. That's fine. So again, for the syllabuses you want, you should just uh, watch some, I don't know, YouTube videos, because there are some people who are specifically working on this field, like just for this exam. They should give you better instructions. But that's all I can tell you. Just practice and practice and practice through different means, like
Oh, I'm sorry.
YouTube, so on and so forth. But yeah.
For
Uh,
instance, teacher, like if I write any sorts of writing for English, for TOEFL or for SAT or for SAT English, would be enough? Would it be enough
but nothing could
if I
be
practice
enough. I
daily?
mean, the more you practice, the better you will be. But again, it should be like checked. You should just analyze your kind of progress, your performance, if it's enough or you need to work more. And it's not something I can just tell you. It's not like kind of prescription. But all I can tell you is the more you practice, the better you'll be. The more fluent you can speak. And my suggestion is like, don't just think about some scores, some points, some numbers in your certificates and degrees. Try to learn the language. Could it be English, German, French, whatever? Just learning correctly and be able to use, because we have people who have IELTS 8, IELTS 7, IELTS, I don't know, 7.5, but they cannot communicate well. Right? It's not worth. And it's not really interesting. It's not really nice. You have IELTS, for example, 8, but you cannot communicate. You cannot say something. So what's the point? But anyway, so I wish you the best in your exams, and make sure to practice more. And we have sell
Teacher, can you,
seashells. Yeah.
teacher, can you please give me some books which I can use to improve my English and
Yeah, I told
grammar
you Grammar
to be like a
Digest
native level?
and Grammar in Use. Grammar in Use
Grammar
and
Digest.
Grammar Digest and Grammar in Use. They are really great books you can use. And there are some websites that they use some questions and you can answer them. But these two books, they are really good. Okay, thank you. Let's go with the next person. We have Sell Seashells by the Seashore. Okay, so many seas. Okay, hi.
Teacher, thank you. I will take a leave. I have your prayer
Sure.
and support. Thank you.
Sure. Wish you the best. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm a grammar lover, and it's the first time actually to join
Great.
like your classes. And I just wanted to thank you so much. Like, I love grammar, but it's really not. It's really hard and rare to find like someone who teaches grammar in a really nice way. Like, I liked it, and it wasn't boring at all. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to help. And yes, grammar is something boring for many students, but it's necessary. And yeah, that's great. You and others really found the class useful. I mean, it's been 2 years, I think. I'm hosting grammar classes, and always people supportive feedbacks was really interesting. So thank you. Thank you very much for this.
Yeah, thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Sure,
Have
thank
a
you.
great day.
You too. Have a good one. So thank you. Any more questions? I think Sarah raised her hand. If you want to say something, Sarah, now's the time. Otherwise, and yes, PC, I think I received the message from you. I will answer you after the class. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day, a great week in life. Thank you, Royal, and some other students are those who always actively participate in the class, and that's really great. That's really interesting. Gabriel, thank you, teacher. You're welcome. Chromate, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Neowana. Thank you, Rex D and others. Hussein and Sarah are typing after them. We will end the class and we'll see each other next Friday. Next Wednesday. I wish I attended the class. That's fine. I'll be recording. I will upload it on my YouTube channel where you can see that, and anyone can see that again to have kind of revision and review. I was saying thank you. You're welcome. Have a good day and goodbye.